Hey folks, this is Rainer here from tradingwithrainer.com. So I hope you guys are enjoying your weekends and with your loved ones and just having a great time together, alright? So I'd like to share with you one thing, alright? Because right now, before this video analysis, I was actually having lunch with a friend whom I've not met for a couple of years. And we were talking about, our careers and our interests, and he mentioned to me that, hey Rainer, have you come across this site called Trading with Rainer? And I gave him that look and said that, oh, I'm the founder of the site. So yeah, that was pretty funny. And so to Nicholas, this is a shout out to you. And you said that how I actually do my analysis on the chart. So this week my analysis will be start from scratch, alright? My charts will be those plain empty charts you come across, and I'll do my analysis step by step. So I hope you get a clearer picture of how I do this analysis and you can actually make some nice calls in the FX market. So without further ado, let's look at some charts. So this week the first chart I'll cover is the pound yen, alright? So Nicholas, this is for you, alright? So looking at the pound yen weekly chart, we can see that it's in a very nice uptrend, alright? You just use your eye, you can just eyeball it that price is making higher high and higher lows. You can see one here, here, and here. Higher highs. So needless to say, any Tom, Dick and Harry can just tell you that it's a nice uptrend, and usually in a trend, I would like to be a buyer instead of a seller, alright? So now that I've identified the buyers on the weekly chart, I would like to usually go down to the daily or the 4-hour time frame to look for a value entry where I'll look to buy this pair. So looking at this, I'll go down to the 4-hour chart, alright, and I'll zoom out usually and start to plot my SNR levels, alright. So with that, I'll draw an SNR level, the support resistance level, which are actually obvious to me. So there's one here, here, right? So I'll just draw the more immediate one whereby price will be likely to test next week. Alright, no point drawing all the way down here because the chances of price making a 1,000 pip move over 1 week is quite slim. It does happen over black swan events, but it's pretty slim, so there's no point drawing my SNR level so far away. So with these 3 levels that I've identified out, I'll ask myself where is the value zone that I would like to be a buyer, since we know that price is in an uptrend, right? So this is actually the zone which I've identified, which is here, the 156.78, alright, around this level. Usually you can just make it to a nice decent number. We use it as 80, right? So 56.80 is a level I'll look to buy, which is here. And the next question I'll ask myself is, where will I have my stop loss be? So basically what is happening right now is that price, as you can see in a forward chart, is potentially forming into a range, right? So in the range, what price does is that it makes sort of like test the resistance, come down to support, test the resistance, come down to the support, and eventually price will give way either to the upside or the downside. But with the uptrend bias we had in mind earlier from the weekly chart, I'll be having a bias to the upside, alright? So what I'll do is, in this potential range setup, I'll look to buy at support level. So this is actually the level I've identified here, this green zone here. So here is where I look to buy, alright? So where will my stop loss be now that I've identified an entry point? So logically speaking, my stop loss will actually be at a place whereby my analysis will be proof invalidated. So this is the support level which we have identified. So if price were to close below this support level, my trade analysis is wrong and there's no reason for me to stay in the trade, alright? So where I'll get my stop loss actually to be below this swing low over here, alright? So let me use the box instead. Yeah, so be here. My stop loss will be somewhere at this green zone here where I'll place my stop loss. So you're looking at a potential about 140 pip stop loss, alright? So potential targets again for trend trading can be more discretionary, because in an uptrend you look for the resistance to actually be broken. So what I'll suggest is, if price were to come down lower and get you triggered long here, right, I'll have a buy limit order set here with my stop loss over here, right? Stop loss and entry, alright? So how I manage this trade is, price can only do 2 ways. Either it hit my stop loss or go up further to the upside. So my downside here, my stop loss is taken care of. So the next logical question is where I'll look to exit my trade. So let's say if price start heading upward higher, this is a level of potential resistance. So what I'll do is, I'll shift my stop loss to here, my break even trade, alright? So shift my stop loss to break even and watch how price behave at this resistance level. So price could either go up higher, putting me further in the money, or come back to my entry and stop me out for break even. So these are some of the potential scenarios which will be played in my head, and how I actually execute them if certain scenarios does pop up, alright? So an option that I could actually look to take profit is actually use a Fibonacci, right? I'll draw a Fib from a swing low to a swing high, so from here to here, alright? And I'll look to take profit at the 127 or the 162 level, because price usually have a tendency to reverse at these two levels, the 127 or the 162 level. This is for trend trading play, alright? So yep, this is for the British pound yen, alright? The next pair I'll cover is the Euro Aussie dollar, right? Again, a very simple plain charts, and what I can do is actually I'll plot. No, before I do plotting any lines, I'll ask myself, what is this pair doing right now? So as you can see, again, it's trending, right? Higher highs and higher lows, right? So again, higher highs, higher lows. So we know that it's very straightforward to see that this pair is in an uptrend, right? So in the uptrend pair, we look to buy. So again, where will I look to buy? I'll look to buy in value zones, right? Levels which I think are cheap, alright? Cheap to me. So with that, I'll go down to the lower time frame, like the daily chart or the 4-hour chart, and look for an entry, alright? So with that, let's go down to the lower time frame and see what we can find. So looking at the 4-hour chart, alright, I'll zoom out and I'll plot my support resistance level. Right, so I'll plot one here, as I can see it's quite obvious, right here, right, and there's one more here. So usually, one thing to know about support resistance level is like, these levels usually tend to cluster around round numbers, alright? They usually terminate at round numbers like the 50 or the 100 level. So if I put 144.0, you can see that price, yep, round number 44.0 is a potential previous resistance, now may turn support, alright? This one may be around here as well. Right, so yeah, so if you play around with these numbers, usually you can get the lines aligned at either the 00 or 50 with the last as the last two numbers. Right, so let's try this. See if this bounce off nicely at that level. So 44.50, let's try. So yep, again, yeah, see how the wick bounced off at the 50 level, and this is the 00 level. So yep, this is the zone which I want to pay attention to, because that's where I'll expect price to come back and bounce up higher. So this zone, I'll look to be a buyer in this green box down here. And once I've identified a level which I would like to get long, the next question is, where will I place my stop loss be? Alright, so we know that in an uptrend, price will make higher highs and higher lows. So logically for me now, my stop loss will be placed below this swing low over here. So now, looking at it, if let's see what happens, alright? If price were to come back here and test this green box, I'll get long here, long, alright? So when it's an uptrend, I'll expect price to make higher move, alright? Get up highest. However, price does not always do what we anticipate, and it could actually just come back lower and take me out, stop me out for a loss. So if price were to take out this swing low over here, I'd probably be wrong, and there's no reason for me to stay in the trade. So yep, this is how I'll play this pair for the Euro Aussie. Alright, so if you're thinking of getting long, potential risk would actually be about, I would say, 155 pips, alright? And your targets can actually be quite aggressive here until at this swing high over here, which is a potential about 570 pips. So that's about, you're looking at about close to a 1 to 4 risk reward, right? So this is how much you're risking, and this is your potential reward. So yeah, so that's how I actually do up my analysis. Alright, so Nick, if you're out there and if you're listening, that's basically how I actually look to analyze most of my swing trading setups each week. Alright, and for those of you out there who are enjoying what I'm doing, what you can do is actually head out to my website at tradingwithrainer.com and just check out my free videos and articles that I put out on a regular basis. Alright, with that, I wish you guys a pleasant weekend and good luck and good trading. Thank you.